Hi guys! This is the third video of the second week, and most of you heard that we will probably go on online school 2 weeks longer than we originally anticipated. So this is the calendar, the school calendar, and I know that online schooling can be very tiring because you kind of have to pace it yourself, and some of you are not so good at time management, things like that. So it's a learning curve for everyone. There's a different organization skills and time management. There's a lot going on. And so I adjusted the timeline a little bit. I hope that this helps, not to make you lazy in any ways, but to get enough rest that you need to continue this online school for a little bit longer. So the Unit 3 review that I posted, that is due Sunday, the 5th, okay? So like I suggested, if you have a mindset of doing 2 to 3 FRQs a day and limiting your time to about an hour, 25 minutes on the number 6 daily assignment, and 35 minutes on the unit review. The reason I really encourage you to time yourself is because it's very easy to get carried away of just like thinking and trying to produce the most correct answer. And that's really good, but you have to realize that your exam will be timed. And that is a skill that we must practice right now when we don't have much pressure, because since it's going to be online, who knows what's going to happen. And so there's already an anxiety, and if something should happen like Wi-Fi or whatever it is, then you can still have enough time in your hand, and you know how long something will take for you to solve and things like that. So you can pace yourself better for the actual test. So I will also post this schedule online so that you don't have to come back to the video to look at it, and you can just look at it from Google Classroom. And originally I said that April 22nd would be our mock test, but because of all this off days, I wanted to move another week. So we are going to do it on the April 30th. So that week we won't have any weekend quiz on AP Classroom. It'll be just the 45-minute long mock test. And number 6, daily work will continue until we hear further from College Board about your exam. And so I know number 6s aren't all that fun because it's one of the more difficult, complicated, and that requires more of your problem solving and critical thinking abilities. So it is a good practice because most likely that College Board will select number 6s or something like number 6 on the actual test. But for now, yeah, do it for this week and give me feedback about that. Like, is it too much to do every day? Should we do every other day? Or is it okay? Like, I mean, we are going to run out of number 6s. And so you're not going to be doing this forever, but still, like with other work that you're doing, I want to be considerate of that. Unit 5 is the sad one. There's only one question. So please time things, manage your time wisely. But 4, 6, and 7, it's 6, 7, which is similar to like Unit 1 and 2. But Unit 3 just happened to be super long, okay? Yeah, so this is our plan. And obviously, it might change. And thank you so much for showing me grace when things change and I'm not very fast in responding to you or grading and things like that. I will try to be on top of things as well. Yeah, so if you have any question, any concerns or worries or prayer requests or whatever it is, make sure that you keep in touch with me and just communicate your needs and just frustration, whatever it is that you're feeling. I'm here to help, and I'm here to connect with you guys as much as possible in the platform that we are provided. So having said that, we are going to do devotional on a very short chapter called Mystery. So let me read the text and then I will, I'll read the devotional. So Job chapter 38, verse 1 through 7. Then the Lord answered Job from the whirlwind. Who is this that questions my wisdom with such ignorant words? Brace yourself, because I have some questions for you, and you must answer them. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me, if you know so much. Do you know how its dimensions were determined, and who did the surveying? What supports its foundations, and who laid its cornerstones, as the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy? Mystery. Silence. Sometimes what causes us the most pain and confusion is not what God says to us, but the fact that in the midst of difficulty, he seems to say nothing at all. Has God been silent in your life as you've been waiting for answers? That's how it was for Job. He wanted to hear from God. He wanted to understand why he was suffering. He wanted God to clear his name. Let the Almighty answer me, he says in Job chapter 31, verse 35. Finally, after all the questioning and struggle, in a voice from out of a storm, God speaks. God begins by asking where Job was when God began the work of creation. What had Job done to call the universe into being, to create his own life, or to make possible the existence of his possessions, or his children, or his health? You might expect God to answer all of those chapters full of questions from Job and his friends who have been waxing eloquent about God and how he works. You might think God would set the record straight on all the fine points. But that isn't what he does. He answers Job's questions with his own set of questions, 4 chapters of them, basically reminding Job that he is questioning Almighty God. God doesn't explain. He doesn't reveal his master plan. Instead, he reveals himself. And in the midst of his awesome presence, Job's questions are not answered. They simply disappear. Job chapter 40. Then the Lord said to Job, do you still want to argue with the Almighty? You are God's critic, but do you have the answers? Then Job replied to the Lord, I am nothing. How could I ever find the answers? I will put my hand over my mouth in silence. I have said too much already. I have nothing more to say. In his response, God does not explain suffering or how to avoid suffering. Suffering is a mystery, and Job comes to respect the mystery. Job comes to understand that because he knows who God is, he can accept what God gives, even when he doesn't understand it. God did not choose to reveal everything to Job. He doesn't reveal everything to us either. And the truth is, he doesn't have to. He is God. He is creator, and we are the created. God does not owe us an explanation. And what if God had spelled it out? What if he had explained his full plan and purpose for Job's suffering? We tend to think that if we only knew why we are suffering, we would be able to bear it. But would we? Somehow, I think that even if God listed all the reasons he has allowed you to lose your loved one, develop the disease, or suffer the rejection, it still wouldn't seem worth it from your limited perspective. Instead, he expands our perspectives by giving us a glimpse of his ability to run the universe in contrast to our limited understanding and experience. Job had no idea that he was a player in a cosmic confrontation. As we read the ancient story, we are privy to the deal made between God and Satan, but Job had no such context for his suffering. He had no idea that his faithfulness in extreme difficulty mattered so much. But it did. Job teaches us that our response to testing matters too. Like Job, we often cannot see the hidden purposes of God. Still, we can determine to be faithful and keep walking toward Him in the darkness. Our task is not to decipher exactly how all of life's pieces fit and what they all mean, but to remain faithful and obedient to God, who knows all mysteries. That is the kind of faith that is pleasing to God, a faith that is determined to trust Him when He has not answered all the questions, when He have not heard the voice from the whirlwind. When we have not heard the voice from the whirlwind. Would you be still and listen for the voice of God speaking to you through His word? Perhaps not answering the question why, but revealing the all-important who. Would you rest in knowing that there are mysteries we will never understand completely in this life? And would you resist trying to explain an unexplainable God? Would you choose to trust God and continue believing He has a plan and a purpose, even though the future looks dark? And that's how the chapter ends. So we have two more chapters. One is called Submission, and one is called Intimacy. And we're done with this little book. And so if you have devotional you want to share, or if you have a verse or a chapter or book that you're reading that you want to share with your classmates, please forward them to me so I can share with everyone. Or if you don't have any, I'll find something else. So yeah, I'll be praying for you guys. I hope you guys are staying healthy, well rested, and not going insane in this situation. Like I said, I am available. I hope that you realize that and that you feel free to contact me, not just because of AP Stat or math, but because you need someone to talk to. So, okay guys, I will see you tomorrow, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.